What's up, everyone? Welcome to Heroes Avenue. My name is Darren, and today we're going to be talking about the Batman, and we're going to go into what Steven Soderbergh had to say about comic book movies. And let's go ahead and jump into the Batman first, because this one was super exciting and kind of affected me. So the Batman, they released early screenings in the U.S. Yesterday, which was Wednesday. And the showing was for March 1st. And that's 3 days early than the actual release date. And so a lot of us, me included, got our tickets and it sold out within minutes. As soon as I found out the tickets were on sale, I instantly texted Rob, was like, yo, tickets are on sale, get it now. And he jumped on it, and everyone got the same, I think everyone got the same showtime, which is 7 p.m. across the country, which is pretty crazy. So at 7 p.m. in the US, everyone's going to be watching the Batman and having a great time, hopefully. And from the article that I have up, it says in the early screening ticket sales, it already made 135 million domestically. And so that is super sick. And that is going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to buy my regular ticket, screening, maybe within the next week or so. Cause for sure I'm going to watch this multiple times, at least 3 times. I'm going to maybe watch it again on Friday and then again on Sunday. It's going to be a blast of a weekend, so it's going to be super fun. And if you guys got your tickets, let me know in the comments below. Did you guys get your tickets? Who are you going with? Is it just you and a buddy? Are you going by yourself? Are you bringing a bunch of your friends? Shout out if you are going by yourself. That is hardcore. I definitely would. I have no shame going to the movies by myself. So yeah. So that is our first news of today. It's a really quick one. Other news is that we got Steven Soderbergh, who is a director and a writer. He came out and talked about how he wouldn't want to work on a superhero comic book movie because it's not grounded enough. And he said it's also because there's no, pardon my French, there's no fucking in these movies. Literally, that's what he said. He said there's no fucking in this movie. So let me just go ahead and read it to you. Let me just read you a quote here. He says, "I'm not a snob. It's not that I feel it's some lower tier in any way. It really becomes about what universe you occupy as a storyteller. I'm just too earthbound to really release myself to a universe in which Newtonian physics don't exist. I just have a lack of imagination in that regard, which is why the one foray I had into pure science fiction was essentially a character drama that happened to be set on a spaceship. Also, for a lot of these, for me to understand the world and how to write or supervise the writing of the story and the characters, apart from the fact that I could bend time and defy gravity and shoot beams out of my fingers, there's no fucking. Nobody's fucking. Like, I don't know how to tell people how to behave in a world in which that is not a thing. The fantasy spectacle universe, as far as I can tell, typically doesn't involve a lot of fucking. And also things like, who's paying these people? Who do they work for? How does this job come to be?" And so this was released on Variety. He did a little short interview with them, and it kind of sparked. It was kind of like the news of the day of on Wednesday or Tuesday, and a bunch of people, a bunch of fans were tweeting about it, commenting about it, in response to his "no fucking" quote. And a lot of actors and a lot of filmmakers also that have worked in like comic book films, they also have responded to Steven Soderbergh. For example, let me just pull up Peacemaker. So the Peacemaker account on Twitter responded to Steven Soderbergh because obviously, if you guys are watching Peacemaker does have a sex scene in there, and it's pretty raunchy. And he has one sex scene, and then he has like a post-sex scene in one of the episodes as well. But he tweets this in response to Steven Soderbergh and says, "I'm doing a lot of fucking, like so much that people tell me I need to do it less of it." Super funny. And obviously, I mean, there's other movies outside of Peacemaker that do have sex scenes. Batman vs Superman, for example, with Lois Lane and Clark Kent in that bathroom scene. Then you got also Marvel Netflix shows. They have a lot of sex scenes in there. Even though some of it is it's not raunchy. It's some of it's like pretty comedic as well. And Titans season, I don't know, season 1 or 2 also has a sex scene. Oh, the first season definitely does, because Nightwing and Starfire. And so obviously Steven Soderbergh, he's not up to date with these comic book movies, and I don't think he spends his time watching it. I don't think he's keeping up with it. So arguing with a guy that doesn't really watch the stuff, and he's just going off of his idea of what like these comic books movies are. And I think when he's talking about like superhero movies, I think he's mostly talking about Marvel movies. Like most of the times, like these filmmakers, when they talk about like comic book like movies or not cinema, I think they're mostly talking about Marvel movies, because they're like the most successful, popular franchise in the comic book genre out there right now. Like rarely are they talking about DC movies. I don't think so. Because if you go into DC movies, like you know for a fact it's you know, they have it's a different flavor than Marvel, and I'm pretty sure Steven Soderbergh is talking about Marvel movies in his quotes here. I kind of get what he's saying. I mean, if we're only talking about Marvel movies and how there's no sex scenes in there, even though like, you know, these characters are like, they defy gravity, you know, they have powers, and you're not going to involve sex scenes. Like, that's the point that you're going to stop? I kind of get where you're coming from, but he also needs to think about, it's not for kids. Like, not every Marvel movie is going to have sex scenes. Like, that's not their demographic. Like, you need to know who you're preaching to. And yeah, I think that's pretty silly of him to say. But at the same time, I don't think he really cares for comic book movies, and I don't think he's really interested in them. And I think this is kind of his way of poking fun at them, and just pointing out, there's no sex scenes. Honestly, I think he was just talking out of his ass. I think he was just making fun of the whole genre. And so yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. What do you guys think about Steven Soderbergh's comments or quote here? Do you guys agree with him? Do you guys agree that you can't do sex scenes with comic book movies? How do you guys feel about that? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys again. Bye.